From war-torn stockpiles to prize weapons, an underground pipeline stretches across borders, landing in the hands of power and propaganda. Names surface, networks unravel, and the shadows start talking. But here's the twist. Who's arming whom, and what does that reveal about the war behind the war? Ukrainian authorities say they have dismantled a transnational arms trafficking network accused of funneling weapons from occupied territories into the hands of pro-Russian figures, foreign leaders, and high-profile individuals. In a statement released on April 28, 2026, the National Police of Ukraine outlined the scope of the operation, which uncovered a coordinated smuggling pipeline spanning Russian-occupied Ukraine, Slovakia, and parts of Europe.
The network sourced weapons from temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories and through illegal imports from Slovakia. Some of the weapons were distributed as so-called prizes by Denis Pushilin, the head of the Russian-installed administration in occupied Donetsk Oblast.
Investigators allege that Denis Pushilin, the Moscow-backed head of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, personally distributed some of these weapons as trophies or incentives. The police statement named a list of recipients that spans senior Russian officials, foreign leaders, and public figures.
Kim Jong-un, Bashar al-Assad, Dmitry Medvedev, Sergei Sobyanin, Sergei Lavrov, Ramzan Kadyrov, Steven Seagal, Yulia Chicharina, Vladimir Solovyov, Alexander Sidyakin, and Vladimir Saldo. These are the individuals who received prize weapons from Denis Pushilin.
Among them is US actor Steven Seagal, who has developed close ties with the Kremlin and Russian President Vladimir Putin in recent years, frequently promoting pro-Moscow narratives and visiting occupied Ukrainian regions. The investigation, launched in January 2026 and dubbed Operation Black Casing, revealed a sophisticated criminal network involved in smuggling, modifying, and redistributing weapons. According to authorities, firearms were sourced both from conflict zones and illegally imported from Slovakia, where certain weapons were altered to fire live ammunition. Follow-up raids in April across Kyiv, Zakarpattia, and Sumy regions led to the seizure of more than 90 firearms, including grenade launchers, anti-tank weapons, artillery shells, and even an armored vehicle. Officials also recovered counterfeit documents, explosives, and specialized equipment used to conceal and transport weapons, underscoring the scale and sophistication of the trafficking routes. Ukrainian investigators have charged Pushilin under Article 438 of the Criminal Code, related to violations of the laws and customs of war, with further charges expected as forensic analysis of seized materials continues. The operation is being conducted in coordination with Europol and international partners, as authorities work to dismantle supply chains and track cross-border arms flows linked to the war. A Russian cargo vessel that sank off Spain's southeastern coast in December 2024 was allegedly carrying undeclared components for 2 nuclear reactors bound for North Korea and may have been disabled by damage consistent with a torpedo strike. The report by Spanish regional newspaper La Verdad centers on the sinking of the Ursa Major, which went down on December 23, 2024, around 60 nautical miles from the port city of Cartagena, in waters between Spain and Algeria. La Verdad, based in Murcia, said its account was drawn from what it described as an official version, known to the outlet from a Spanish investigation. Spain's Civil Guard Maritime Service confirmed to the Kyiv Independent that local authorities had completed their investigation and handed the findings over to Russian authorities. The agency declined to provide further details about the conclusions or the evidence gathered. According to La Verdad, Spanish maritime controllers first raised concerns after detecting erratic movements by the vessel. When contacted by radio, the ship's crew initially dismissed any problem. The situation later escalated after a Mayday call was issued. Spanish authorities dispatched rescue assets to the scene and evacuated 14 crew members from the listing ship. 2 crew members were reported missing following the evacuation. La Verdad reported that Spanish officials then questioned the ship's captain, Igor Vladimirovich Anisimov, about both the nature of the cargo and the cause of the damage that led to the sinking. According to the newspaper, the captain initially told authorities that the Ursa Major was carrying empty containers and heavy equipment. He also reported that explosions had occurred on board. The newspaper said the description of the hull damage, with metal forced inward, would suggest penetration from outside to inside, a detail that investigators reportedly considered consistent with an external strike rather than an internal accident. La Verdad further claimed that Spanish investigators suspected the vessel was transporting undeclared components intended for 2 nuclear reactors, with North Korea identified as the final destination. These allegations, if confirmed, would raise serious questions about sanctions enforcement and illicit maritime transfers involving Russia and Pyongyang. According to the report, Russia later sought to take control of both the response and any further inquiry into the sinking. Moscow was said to have invoked the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, objecting to what it described as a Spanish inspection of the vessel. Spanish authorities have not publicly confirmed the nature of the cargo or the cause of the damage, and no official documentation from the investigation has been released. Russian authorities have also not made public any findings from their side. For now, the sinking of the Ursa Major remains surrounded by unanswered questions, with competing jurisdictions, limited disclosures, and allegations that point to far wider geopolitical implications than a routine maritime accident in the Western Mediterranean.